Excited more than anything. I think it's quite a unique year, simply because there's probably 2 years worth of fresh faces now.
I can't wait for next Tuesday, back on the pitch with the boys. We're very much a player empowerment programme. We like to see the boys out making decisions, enjoying themselves and putting their energy to good use on the field. I can't wait to put them on the pitch again.
I can't say it's the away games, but a packed hollow drift sort of this time of year before we get to snow and rain is massive for us. We earmark sort of 2 or 3 charity games a year where we get a decent crowd down from the university, and they're the sort of special moments that you play in.
I think the first one is a good place to start with that. We've got Cardiff Met at home, Cardiff Met away, sorry, and I don't think you could ask for a better start. It's a really tough place to go, but there's no easy games in BUCS Super Rugby. Returning players, such as Freddie Davis, our captain, is a fantastic player. He was a cornerstone of our pack that helped win the title a couple of years ago, 18 months ago. He's coming back, and we've got big expectations on him as a player and a leader. I'll go honesty, intensity and fun.
Mark is joining us now. He is a travelling reserve for Durham today. They are the champions, but you weren't a part of that team because you are a fresher and this is your first away trip. Firstly, how was the bus journey down?
The bus journey was alright, to be fair. It was a long one, obviously, and it's going to be a long day. But, you know, I think it was just a case of chatting on the way down, making the time fly by, and I feel alright. I think a lot of the boys feel alright as well. So.
What was the process like then, in terms of your selection? Because you're a fresher, it must be such a buzz to be involved.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, it was quite a short and compact pre-season. We haven't had a lot of games. It's mostly been based on training, but I know that Keezy does a good job of it, and he knows a lot of people, and he trusts a lot of people like Fred to help him with that sort of thing. So I think, for me, it's kind of just doing my job, and I think others are pretty similar, and just getting out there and, you know, enjoying it when they're out there.
Talk to me about Fred as a captain in your short experience as a member of the club. Seems like a great leader.
Yeah, he really is a figurehead of Durham Rugby Club, you know. He's very level-headed, he's very professional in the way he goes about his business. And I think when Fred plays well, Durham play well. I think we saw that in 2019. I think it was really good for him to be here as that sort of figurehead for Durham.
Finally then, talk to me about BUCS Super Rugby, what it means to you, what it means to the club, and how much you're looking forward to being a part of it.
I'm really looking forward to being a part of it because, you know, it is a pathway to professional rugby if you want that, but it's also a really high standard to carry on from schoolboy for me, and yeah, you know, it's a great standard. You get some great crowds out here, and it's a great way to make some friends, especially to me as a fresher.
Well, good luck, not just tonight because you're not playing, but for the rest of the season. Very much looking forward to seeing how you get on, and maybe we can have a chat later in the season. But I assume this is your first visit to Cardiff. The good thing about coming to Cardiff Met is you are never far away from meeting a Welsh international, and Gabs has got one pitch side right now.
Chris,
Brilliant, thank you so much.
first match tonight for Cardiff Met against Durham in the BUCS Super League. It's a big one, isn't it? The crowd are here. Sum up how it feels to be playing in BUCS with a big crowd as well.
Well, it's been in the doldrums for 18 months. Obviously, we've had no BUCS Super Rugby. It's the heartbeat of university sport. It's back tonight. It's going to be back with a bang. You know, the biblical rain's held off. It's a beautiful evening, beautifully fast track, and hopefully we're going to see some fantastic running rugby from both sides.
There's always a big standard of rugby, a great match always, isn't it? So sum up, you know, you've experienced BUCS yourself. How much of importance is it for the players? I
think so, yeah. Like I said, it is the heartbeat of university sport, and these two teams, Durham obviously champions, Cardiff Met, they were finalists 3 years ago. So I think both teams, both coaches have talked about, you know, reconnecting the squad with the fans, and I think with the Cardiff Uni Ultras that they have in the crowd, I think it'll be an intense atmosphere, which I can't wait to see.
Well, it's going to be a massive evening, isn't it? First one back with the crowd. Back to you, Dave.
Thank you very much, Gabs. I was hoping to be joined by Ethan McVeigh, but he's got a fairly serious bit of scaffolding on his leg, and it's taken him a bit longer to get here than it normally would, but it means that I can pump his tyres up entirely. He's had a great season with San Diego Legion. He's looking at me and shaking lads' hands at the moment. Ethan, come and have a chat. Really good to see you.
I was to sort of describe Cardiff Met RFC, it would be somewhere where we've got maybe 10 or 11 teams, 200, 300 players. We're trying to get fixtures for everybody and give everybody that opportunity to play. We then also look to try and balance the different elements of our club, from people who want to play socially to people perhaps who are going to take that their rugby as seriously as they can, perhaps to become professionals in the future. We've been really lucky in recent years. The likes of Aaron Wainwright, Luke Northmore, Alex Dombrandt played for England on the weekend, to more recently the likes of Ellis Bevan and Tom Pearson signing for the Blues and London Irish. So hopefully there's a place for everyone, and there's the opportunity for people to train and develop as full-time, almost academy players within that academic environment where they can develop both their rugby, but also, and one of the most important things to us, is to come out with that academic degree.
They need some composure. They go out wide where there is acres of space, and Cardiff Met open their account in this Cardiff derby, and the crowd go wild.
To be fair, the facilities here are brilliant. We're on Rugby 3G now. We train here most days, and yeah, can't really complain about this. The fast track. Rugby 1's the top pitch as well, and we're lucky enough to have Nyack with about 2 or 3 top class gyms in there, and yeah, it's brilliant. Can't complain.
Set! Big school, boys!
I think the ambition for the club this year is about connections, belonging, bringing people back from what has been 16 months of a really challenging time. Yes, we have had the odd opportunity for maybe training blocks, but for us now it's about really bringing the club back from back in March 2020, a quarter-final against Loughborough, having just beaten Neath in the Welsh Rugby Union Championship, to 16 months without a game. So that connections and belonging becomes something that's really important to us. But then moving on from that, it'll be across the club, whether you're a first year coming in, a second year or a third year, the number of fourth years coming back. It's going to be about each individual improving themselves as a person, on and off the field, academically and rugby wise. But like everybody who plays the game, we all want to win and we all want to be competitive. So as the season goes on, it'll be about our BUCS performances, our BUCS Super Rugby games, and how we get on in that Welsh Championship will be important markers for us moving forward.
Played at the moment, but an offload, one-on-one from the Melwinger, who weaves inside. He puts the after banners on, drags short, offloads to Weaver, Eastern Edge, and Kincoy.
Yeah, so recent successes of the club, I think, would be, if you look at our on.
The same old rivalries with new faces. The BUCS Super Rugby season returns. Glorious conditions here at Cardiff Met. And in today's starting 15 for the hosts, only captain Ewan Shenton and winger Brad Denty were involved the last time the team went out in March 29 away at Northumbria. Archie Kirby on the tight head side hails from the same John Fisher school that produced Archer's favourites Alex Dombrandt and George Simpson. And at 6, Matthew Marley returns as a mature student, having played in the RFU Championship. Any players in that 15 particularly take your eye, Chris?
Yeah, the captain, Ewan Shenton, he's going to be a standout for me. I spoke to head coach Danny Milton beforehand, and he said him alongside centre Brad Roderick Evans got a hell of a peg on him, apparently. So look out for that this evening. Well,
the Archers are out. I can hear the faithful already, and I think it's going to be a great evening here. They're not used to sunshine, I'll tell you that.
It's a glorious evening here, and the biblical rain that we had yesterday has held off, and the pitch is looking mighty fine, I might say, Dave. Yeah,
it's just made it a little bit more lush, hasn't it? Temperature has dropped here. I think we're going to see a kicking into that famous corner, but before that, let's have a look at the Durham side, because 7 of the starting 15 were involved in at least one of the 2 final matches in their championship winning season. They won the championship, of course, at home against Leeds Beckett, and then sent what was effectively a second team away to Hartbury so they could lift the trophy. but at the same time rest people for the playoffs that never happened. I'm particularly interested in captain Freddie Davis and second row Maren House. Freddie, of course, as hooker, and Maren calls the lineouts. When you've got an inexperienced team, as you well know, if you can build a platform on the set piece, then you can definitely make a dent in a team away from home. It's been a heck of a journey from them, and they've got plenty of strength on the bench as well.
Two players I'm looking out for on the bench that could potentially make an impact there is Rhys Barrett, he's a Cardiff Blues Academy player, and young Morgan Lloyd from Newport, 18 years old, also part of the Gwent Dragons setup. So those are two that could come off the bench and potentially make a huge impact for the Met.
For Durham, they've got Monty Royston, who can prop on both sides, and he was involved the last time out as well. But Cardiff Met are going to get us underway, attacking the try line to your left in this first half. We've already had one monster result confirmed in BUCS Super Rugby. Leeds Beckett putting 50 points on Bath. And obviously we get the outliers as Freddie Davis leads the Palatinate out. Let's come back to that result, because I want to talk about this Durham team now. You've travelled a lot for rugby, particularly on the Sevens circuit. It takes you around the world. But sometimes you've got to shake those journeys out of your legs. It's okay in Sevens because you've got 2-3 games in a day. Here, 6 hours. They've driven across a country, over a border. They've got 80 minutes of rugby, then they've got to do it again. It's going to have an impact, isn't it?
It's going to be a huge ask, and it's going to, those that are the Planets are going to get themselves up for it early doors, because if not, they're going to be in for a long first half.
Well, welcome wherever you're watching around the world. Myself, Dave Rogers, and Chris Knight talking you through action here. Sam Brown.
The Andy Good of Cardiff Met, I've been told. The Andy Good of Cardiff Met.
Well, they'll be hoping so, because it means he'll have a great boot. And that's a good start. First carry. And it is the number 8, Jack Hill. Massive shoes to fill. England student Ben Foles was the number 8 and the captain who led Durham to championship glory.
Yeah, Cardiff a bit too eager there. Obviously 18 months of inactivity getting the better of them, and early penalty conceded. Let's hope those penalties don't rack up in the first half. But excitement all round from both sides.
Well, Harry Mercer on kicking duty for Durham today. He did play 10. Oh, that's an athletic attempt to keep the ball in. I like that from the captain, Ewan Shenton. But yeah, Harry Mercer was involved. He's come through the teams, through the second team, and during this period of inactivity, been told that he's worked very hard on his kicking game, and that's a great start. And this is the kind of platform where Durham will be hoping to do damage. Freddie Davis.
Bit eager there. Yeah, their lineup's a real threat today, Dave. Plenty of tries scored last. I think Freddie Davis was the top try scorer for Durham in their championship winning season with 11 tries. So expect big things from their driving maul this evening.
What I will say is, brand new teams, brand new players. It'll take us a little while to ID. But Maren House in his orange hat and Ewan Murphy in his white hat. I really appreciate that, lads. Thank you very much. So, Durham. First possession inside the Cardiff Met 22. Working it towards the post, and they've got a penalty advantage coming as well. And they're going to pick and drive and wait as Harry Craven finds Jack Hill. Now, Ewan Murphy.
Opportunity for Paul Brown out wide if they can shift it.
And instead it's Joe Murphy. Gets his first carry in the dark scrum cap. Craven. There's Hamish Murray. And now Maren House. He's got Jamie Adamson in behind him. Good patience here from Durham. Little snipe from Harry Craven. This will be a real nerve settler for Durham, going through these phases, showing discipline.
Patient build-up play here, using their strong forward pack to their advantage, battering away at the Cardiff defence.
Well, this was their point of difference in the championship winning season. And they're picking up where they left off. Big questions to ask for Cardiff Met here, who haven't really been stretched. Now we're going to see a little bit of which. Sol Hyde steps inside, back against the grain. And a lot of phases the referee gave them there.
I think that'll do a lot of confidence for Durham. They're building through the phases. No mistakes made. They're slowly creeping their way towards that Cardiff Met try, and I think they'll be happy with that. You know, their driving maul was a success, and it could be early points on the board here with the first penalty with a shot at goal.
Interesting that they've gone for goal, you know. I see so many teams these days with 3 points on offer and they'll go no scrum or no tap and go, no corner. I think Durham making a sensible decision. 3 minutes in, first visit to the 22, come away with something.
Settle the nerves, get points on the board and start building. They could go well from the corner. They could go to their strength, which is the driving line out, but I think this is a sensible decision from Durham, especially away from home. Very wise decision. Let's hope Harry Mercer can slot this over.
So this is the 5th time these teams have met in the BUCS Super Rugby era at King Coy. Durham have won 2, Cardiff Met have won 2. Interestingly, as the flags go up, the team that's won the first game has always won the second game. And success in this fixture is usually a sign that you'll do well in the season. Cardiff Met won the double over Durham the year they got to Twickenham. Durham did the double over Cardiff Met the year they won the league title. So maybe, if you believe in omens...
Well, it's not an easy league, this, Dave. No. Potentially one of the toughest in the country. No easy games.
Cardiff Met go the same way with the kickoff. That's Adamson with the carry. That shock of blonde hair, and he loses it in the tackle. So here is Shenton. Lovely little shuffle, and he gets tackled by Marin House. So Stacey. Brown puts boot to ball. So Cardiff Met will lose the advantage.
I would have liked to see them play with a bit more ball in hand there, Dave. And that's gone out on the full, I believe. So
yeah.
Carried back in. Opportunity to Cardiff Met, and the crowd are loving that.
We have to acknowledge the crowd here because the banks are full and it looks absolutely fantastic. The atmosphere is great. To the left-hand side, we've got all the club members in their ones. But Cardiff Met into the 22 for the first time. Durham came away with 3 points on their first visit, and here's Joe Cowell with his first meaningful carry. Stacey.
Big shots coming in from Durham here.
Interestingly, is that Roderick Evans down? And he looks pretty uncomfortable as well. That's not good news for Cardiff Met. Very versatile man in the back line, covers 10, 12, 15, but it is Bingo Ivanisevic bouncing off a defender and eventually getting brought down. Ewan Shenton waits at first receiver, tips on, trying to put a man through the hole. Now Sam Brown assesses his options, goes himself and gets dumped tackled. That's a great tackle by Jamie Adamson.
Huge hit there, huge hit.
Barnaby
Some great
Waddle.
lines being run though by the Cardiff Met players against the grain.
But they've given away the penalty. And just look at a couple of moments there. Just Durham players congratulating their teammates on those little wins.
It makes a huge, huge difference, Dave. It's sometimes it swings the momentum. When a team are hammering away at the door and you get that turnover, you relieve that pressure. Sometimes it can switch the momentum, and that is a huge, huge turnover from Durham there.
What is interesting here as well is keep your eye on some of those type 5 forwards who are heaving from the chest already. 18 months off this standard of rugby, this speed of rugby can do that to you.
I will say that you cannot replicate match rugby in the training environment. So these players, they could have done all the fitness they want, but their lungs will be burning, their muscles will be aching, and there'll be galactic acid central in that second half. So it will be interesting to see how those type 5 forwards go after sort of the first half. The first 30 minutes, we'll see if there's any tired legs out there.
The temperature's dropping here, and we've got a lot of lads who haven't brought coats. I hope their parents aren't watching, because they'll catch their death of cold.
You don't need a coat when you've got a beer jacket. Yeah, that's for sure.
There are a few lads who haven't got their ties either, so obviously not everyone's student loans come in yet.
Yeah, a couple of fines there, I see, a couple of fines.
So, Freddie Davis looks like a Spitfire pilot grown in a lab. Finds Marin House off the top, so an opportunity now with Mercer to spread the ball early. Here's Sol Hyde out the back to Nick Jonas. Great feet on Nick Jonas, and they're very excited about the pace of Paul Brown on the right wing, but...
Another turnover. Another turnover. I'm not sure who got that one, but I like the way the Cardiff defence slid off there. There's a bit of sleight of hand out the back from the Durham players, and Cardiff Met read it well. Slid off and able to put the pressure on for that turnover. So great work there from the Met defence.
Defence is on top.
Dave, how much does the crowd play a factor in BUCS rugby?
Certainly from my perspective, it's amazing. I've been lucky over the last few years to travel to most of the grounds, and they all have different identities. I think Durham have just pinched a line out there, and particularly Cardiff Met, because the club's so big. I mean, we'll talk about this throughout the night, but during pre-season I spoke to Danny Milton, and before BUCS had even started, they'd had over 100 boys put on a Cardiff Met shirt in one way, shape or form, and most of them seem to have come down here this evening. There's tremendous support. We spoke about it with the Durham Travelling Reserve Mark beforehand, and he just talked about the friendships that he's already made. And regardless of whether university's the end of your rugby journey or the beginning and you go to a pro club, I don't think there's anything quite like playing for your uni.
No.
It's like that beautiful bridge between your school or your club. It's the first place you've truly chosen to go. And if you're playing at this standard, you have to earn this shirt. You look at the people who've played for Durham and played for Cardiff Met in the last few years. Imagine now, right in front of that stand, how those Cardiff Met players feel about to pack down for a scrum to have 500 or 600 people chant UIC, 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 which has stood the test of time. I mean, UIC doesn't exist anymore, but we're all friends here.
Oh, it's a sensational atmosphere, like you said. You can't replicate that. I think university rugby is some of, especially in my case, some of the best rugby I ever played. Fond memories, and I think the emotions these boys will be feeling, the real sort of pump that they'll get from the crowd is, you can't replicate. Like you said, the banks are lined, the fans are well-oiled, and I think it's going to be an exciting evening here. Welcome back, BUCS Super Rugby.
100%. But just to go around the ground, so you go up north to Durham. They've got a big club as well, and they think they're great. I think they're awful. They've got their Palatinate blazers with the white piping, and they all turn out and they have a great time. Then over at Northumbria, they get the chance to play at the home of Newcastle Falcons. How can that not inspire you to be brilliant? Leeds Beckett, they have their big nights at Headingley where they pack the one stand. Then you go down to Bath, incredible atmosphere at the STV, and then they play their anniversary game at the Rec. Exeter, they play the game at Sandy Park. It's unbelievable. And how could you forget the Cardiff derbies at Arms Park? There's one of those coming up in a couple of weeks.
Next week, I think, the Cardiff Clash.
And we'll be covering the one just before Christmas. I've not been to Swansea yet. That's the one I'm really looking forward to. St Helens.
Beautiful ground. And again, great atmosphere, iconic ground, and some great brand of rugby being played down there.
Well, that's the thing. It's a historic ground in Welsh rugby as Durham put boots to ball. Looking to kick themselves back into territory. Is this going to go a bit far? Is it going to stand up on the lush ground? Oh, that is a good kick. That is a good kick.
Very good. Jack Sylvester there watching it, wanting it to go over that dead ball line. Unfortunately, it doesn't. And it is a goal line dropout.
So who have I missed? Hartbury. You played at Hartbury?
I have. Intimidating place to go.
Yeah,
Hartbury.
Hostile environment, I would describe Hartbury as. And again, it doesn't matter if it's Championship, BUCS, Ace Rugby. They've got that little stand where all the sound seems to bounce off. Here's Paul Brown. Very exciting player, and that's a big carry to start with for Brown.
He's put down Barnaby Waddle in his arse there.
And here's Sol Hyde. So he played BUCS Super Rugby as a fresher and is now a third year, a senior statesman, even though he's missed a season like everyone else has. But those players who have represented the club have really got a flag to carry this year. Sees Mercer gets sat down by Ewan Shenton, and the crowd liked that one.
Yeah, very telegraphed that, but they've earned themselves a penalty nonetheless, and he's
going quickly. Harry Craven tapping and going. Lovely feet from Craven. The front row arriving to support him, and that's a pick and go from Marin House, 5 metres short. Cardiff Met with some questions to answer defensively again. Oh, out of the back door, and Matt Woodward gets within a metre. Lovely hands, another pick and go. Referee having a look at this. Held up. Cardiff Met hanging on by the skin of their teeth.
Oh, lovely sleight of hand there from the prop. Out the back door, that you'd be... Sonny Bill Williams would have been proud of that offload. Absolutely beautiful. But I did notice Durham keeping it tight. There was an opportunity out wide for Paul Brown on the wing. Potential to spread it wide, but they're sticking with what they know, barging up front.
Good carry from Paul Brown.
Very strong carry. To sit down a second row doesn't happen very often. That'll give him a load of confidence. So expect big things from him this afternoon.
So he's one of the players. I had a great chat to Rhys Belcher last night as another big carry from Durham comes in. Here's Marin House. Little tip out the back, and Solheim steps inside again. Durham back into the 22. Craven takes his time. He's got Hamish Murray to his right. Freddie Davis is there as well. Oh, and that's been spilled now. Cardiff Met.
Opportunity for Jack Sylvester here on the counter-attack.
Does well, Sylvester, under duress from Paul Brown. Rylands acting scrum half. It's Joe Cowell who took it into contact. Stacey sets himself for the box kick.
And that's out on the full. Yeah, they'd be disappointed with that.
So just going back to that chat I had with Rhys Belcher, who was due to travel today but has had to stay in Durham. So if you're watching, Rhys, welcome. He was talking about players like Paul Brown, who he's a second year, but he came in as a fresher, missed a whole year of rugby, and none of the boys had even met each other. They'd met over Zoom. So sometimes you've got people who've trained for a year off their own bat. They've paid a year of tuition fees. They've done some exams. But it's the first time they've met the lads that they really wanted to be involved with. So
it's a unique scenario we find ourselves in here, and we talked before the game. We don't know who's favourites this year. I think all teams are in the same boat. They're in this period of uncertainty where they've had a whole year of no rugby. You know, second years are technically freshers because they haven't made their debuts yet. So I think these first couple of games you'll see a bit of a almost boxing-esque feel where teams are feeling each other out, trying to understand their best combinations, because although they've trained, they've not played. So I think it'll be an interesting couple of rounds of BUCS, and I'm really interested to see how some of these second years step up to the mark in their first couple of games of Super Rugby.
Again, some great fixtures to look forward to. So Cardiff are at home to Northumbria today. We're here covering Cardiff Met v Durham. Hartpury versus Loughborough, two teams with great heritage in the last sort of 10 or 12 years of university rugby. Then Leeds Beckett hammering Bath. I would say it's a surprise, but nothing's a surprise in BUCS Super Rugby. And I think in the first few weeks, maybe we do get a few surprise results as teams start to get momentum. Then Swansea v Exeter in Swansea.
Be a big game, big games all around. But I think BUCS Rugby is it's one of the toughest leagues in the country.
Yeah.
There's no easy games, and when you factor in travel, Durham today, they travelled 500 odd miles, 6 hours down multiple motorways, and they're going back the same evening. So it's a savage day for them. But all teams have got to do it, and I think that's part and parcel of what makes BUCS so special.
So you've done away days with teams, right?
Yes.
As a debutant. Don't want a 6-hour bus drive, do you?
There's a lot of port being drunk on that bus, Dave. I got to tell you that. It's actually you fear the shorter ones more than the longer ones, because technically you've got a lot longer to drink it. But
yes.
When Cardiff are playing Swansea, I tell you what, that's that bus trip goes like that.
So let's have a look at the set piece then. Experienced front row for Durham, and
strong old shove that.
That Cardiff Met scrum was going backwards, but Sam Brown has the chance to put boot to ball. That's a good kick as well, just outside the 22, so Jonas can't call a mark, but he can step his way out of trouble.
He's been playing a lot of Samurai 7s this summer, Nick Jonas, so I think he's one to look out for. He's got some great feet and some absolute wheels on him, so when he opens up, that should be a sight to behold.
I've not seen the video, but I've heard the urban myth about him playing for the second team and dropping a goal with the last kick of the game to beat Newcastle 1s.
Stuff of university folklore,
carried off the pitch level of legendary from Nick Jonas.
Was it from his own half as well? I can imagine that he would slowly creep back and back from the 22. Lovely hands there from
it's Freddie Davis,
players.
And they're working it up the left-hand side now, Durham. They've probably settled a bit quicker than Cardiff Met, but the score remains 3-0. Just that one penalty as Solheim looks to hit the line. It's a good tackle by Barney Langton. Whenever a second rower can cover a 12 going through a gap.
I bet Sol's eyes lit up there. And slight panic from the second rower. He did great tackle, and he closed that hole very, very quickly.
Jonas. Bit of time. And that one stays in field, so Cardiff Met can come again.
I think there's a substitute on at the minute.
Yes, that's Will Rigg. So in my couple of chats that I had, I asked them to describe Will Rigg to me. The words big and unit were described. So he'll add a different dynamic, Brad Roderick Evans, more a ball-playing centre, and he didn't look particularly comfortable before. So that is the replacement, Rig.
That's a shame. That's a shame. He was highlighted for me as one to look out for. So it's unfortunate of him to go off in the first game of the season so early. But hopefully he's okay, and we'll see him in fixtures to come.
Here's Shenton. Again, takes it into contact. Marin House makes the tackle. Easy to spot in the scrum cap, but he has been everywhere, House.
He's sporting the colours of his country, the Netherlands. He's had some success recently, hasn't he, Dave, in the 15-inside game?
He's been, he's a fully capped international now. He's had a great summer playing in various Rugby Europe competitions. And I love it, you see, because obviously we concentrate on the home nations, and Alex Dombrandt has been called up to the England setup, and Aaron Wainwright has been involved with Wales. There's lovely feet here from Bingo Ivanisevic. Out of the back door by Bingo. He is showbiz. Oh, but then the penalty.
Holding on there, but what a play from Bingo Ivanisevic. He broke that line. He's not afraid to throw out the back door. Fantastic feet there from the big guy. Absolutely sensational stuff.
But just to close that off, Jack Kenningham with England as well, Sam Skinner with Scotland. But all the while, we've had Lasha Jayani from Exeter, who's been playing for Georgia. Marin, who's gone to play for the Netherlands. We've had Toby from Leeds Beckett, who's been capped for Spain. You know, we've got players from all over Europe, all over the world who are coming in. We'll speak to Ethan McVeigh later, who's an American who's played MLR with SD Legion. He was talking about playing with Chris Robshaw. It's so strange to think of English and Welsh university rugby as a worldwide game.
It's brilliant to see, and you alluded to in your chat and how much of a breeding ground BUCS is becoming for these, you know, not just Premiership players, but like you said, international players for European countries. And I think you just have to look at the Premiership just to see the all BUCS back row for Harlequins. It's you know, it's great to see, and I think the Premiership teams are buying into it now. They have partnerships with universities. Exeter and Bath are great examples of that, and they're becoming very astute to seeing how much these sort of university players do develop. You know, they might not make the cut the mustard when they're young, but 2-3 years in uni can transform these players into almost. You look at someone like Dombrandt, the way he's going now. It's fantastic.
I mean, you've mentioned Quins. Don't talk dirty to me. You know, we've only had 20 minutes. When I was mentioning internationals, by the way, I, much to my shame, just left out Swervin Irvin Murick, the urban legend down at Hartbury. He's playing for Belgium. But I've been lucky enough to be at a lot of Harlequins rugby in the last 12 months, and every time I look at that team sheet and see Lauday, Kenningham, Dombrandt in the back row, it just puts a massive smile on my face. Of course, Luke Northmore at 13 as well is absolutely tearing it up. But both of these teams have got that reputation as well. You've got Will up at Leicester Tigers for Cardiff Met. You've got Fitz from Durham, who has just been playing sensational rugby as an open side flanker at Bristol Bears. They've got Josh Basham, who's going to come through at Falcons and be superb as well. And Stevenson, the outside back. So that's just two teams, and we've just named a pretty useful sevens team, you know?
Yeah, it's fantastic to see, and, you know, like you said, Premiership teams are recognising that, and they're getting on board, which is even better for the game.
It also feels as though I'm looking into the future a little bit. Like, which of these players in these teams are going to kick on as Freddie Davis takes another direct carry, and they're using the ball well out of contact. Jamie Adamson again just steps in, but could he get stood up here? Shenton's got hold of him. He's not going anywhere.
He's run into a brick wall there, and they've turned it over. Great play from Shenton.
And then Marley comes away with it. That's gone back into the 22, so Brown keeps it in field. Here's Jonas, sends it back with interest. Got a couple of forwards just out of shot with their hands on their hips. They are not interested.
Their lungs are blowing now. 20 minutes in, it'll be a real test of their endurance. How well have the S&C conditioners worked them over this summer?
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because when you know, effectively you know you're going to have 12 months off. What do you do? Because a lot of these lads some of them will struggle to keep weight off, some of them will struggle to keep weight on, as even Ivanisevic with that hop, skip and a jump. He's I think he's got the potential to have a really exciting season.
I think so. He's got all the attributes of a good centre. He's built well, he's got agile feet, and he's got some really good hands, as we've already seen. He's made some astute little passes, which are, you know, I think this Cardiff Met team, they're playing well. If you look at their structure, they're bringing forwards onto the ball, but they've always got the option out the back, which is, they're not yet to put it out wide, but I think when the opportunity comes, they have that option out the back to go wide and potentially break Durham on the flanks.
So while we wait for the scrum to be set, which will suit Durham, I'd have thought, judging by that first scrum. Couple of dates for you to put in the diary. Next week, there's a double header. Loughborough men against Northumbria, Loughborough women against Hartpury. We'll be broadcasting both games live via the BUCS Super Rugby socials. Then on the 13th of October, you're spoilt for choice. I'll be at Hartpury for the men facing Leeds Beckett and the women facing Northumbria, and the good folks here at Cardiff Met Sport TV will be covering their game on the 13th and on the 20th. And you can get in touch, of course, at BUCS Super Rugby on Instagram and Twitter, and using the hashtag BUCSSUPERRUGBY. Get in touch. We love to hear from you. Wherever you're watching around the world. Oh, Cardiff Met have turned the scrum around.
Crowd aren't happy with that. The crowd are not happy with that.
After that last scrum that looked like it was on roller skates, what a turnaround from Cardiff Met, though.
Cardiff Met did have the reverse lights on for that initial scrum, but words have been said and they've turned the screw, and it's Durham with the reverse lights on. So one against the head. Great to see.
So Cardiff Met are live streaming their games on the 13th and the 20th of October. Bath v Exeter, massive game on the 3rd of November. Then there's a fixture to be confirmed on the 1st of December, and one that I can't wait for to come down on the 15th of December. Cardiff Arms Park, Cardiff Met versus Cardiff. What an occasion.
That's going to be a big one. That is going to be huge. At the Arms Park as well.
Cardiff Met, have they pinched this? Yes, they have. Oh, look at the celebrations as well. The back row pumping up the tyres of the Type 5. That looked like the best moment of Ewan Murphy's life.
Joe Cowell getting pats on the back there. Great scrum. He's from Pontypool, so you know he's a good front row if he's from Pontypool.
So Sam Brown with a touch finder.
And that'll do the Cardiff Met players a world of confidence, because Durham, you know, traditionally very strong up front. They've got a lot of senior boys, so that will boost the confidence tenfold.
So Morgan Nelson, Cardiff Met's line out. Always an interesting part of the game, but that's a good start. Barney Langton
describes himself as a Marcus Rashford lookalike.
Oh, right. Sure. I mean, he's a long way away at the moment.
No, sorry, that's Charles Rylands. I do apologise. It's a completely wrong person.
Oh, hands on this, and the turnover. Good work from Jamie Adamson. So Adamson at 7 today. Something that Durham tend to do is move their back rowers around the back row. Even if he's an out-and-out 7, which he appears to be over the ball and link-in play, he'll play at 6 and 8 this year. That's a big Alex Key thing that he loves to do.
Well, I'm excited to see Jamie Addison today. He's been playing a lot of 7s over the summer. He's had some success with Samurai. I think he won Player of the Tournament up in Edinburgh. And he was, in fact, training with the Team GB squad. And I spoke to Wales captain Luke Trahan. He said he's gone very well. A real humble bloke as well. So I'm excited to see him in the loose. And when it potentially opens up 50, 60 minutes in, I think he should have some real success with that engine of his, which he does carry.
There's a lively start here. And Freddie Davis's darts have been pretty on the money as well. So Ewan Murphy, plenty of whip on that. Putting the big men in midfield, and there is Jamie Adamson.
Lovely offload from Jack Hill there.
And Ollie Walker to the edge of the 22. There is Davies up over the 22, crashing over the gain line. Out of the back door then Tom Fletcher. What's Charles Rylands doing there? Making a nuisance of himself. Ewan Murphy. Davis.
He's making a lot of carries, Davis. He's leading from the front, and he's putting some lovely offloads in to keep that continuity. Rest been hot on the turnovers. And that is great defence from Cardiff Met. A few props with hands on heads there. Joe Cowell sucking the air in.
Then it feels like he's breathing through a straw.
Like an asthmatic in a sawmill.
Oh, very good. 28 minutes gone here at King Coyd. Cardiff Met 0, Durham 3. Just that early penalty from Harry Mercer, and I thought, we've got a penalty in the first 2 minutes. I was gearing up for a real points fest, but it's been an attritional battle.
Yeah, I think we talked about it. The teams have feeling each other. It's been a long 18 months, you know. Not really. There's been competitive rugby in pre-seasons, but you can't replicate BUCS Super Rugby. And these teams are still getting used to playing with each other, still trying to find their combinations, still trying to find their rhythm. But I'm glad the crowd's making noise and building the atmosphere. And hopefully, as the teams settle into the end of this first half and potentially second half, we'll see a bit more free-flowing rugby that both coaches have spoke about.
Well, traditionally, these matches aren't particularly high scoring. Last time the two teams played here, it was Cardiff Met 6, Durham 16. Incidentally, the 2 times Durham have won here at King Coyd, Cardiff Met haven't scored a try in either defeat. 17-3 back in 16-17 and then 6-16 in 19-20. There's only been one sort of runaway performance that's produced over 50 points. That was back in the 17-18 season. Cardiff Met 31, Durham 22. That's the only time that this fixture's produced over 50 points.
Getting turned in there, the Durham loose head. And
What
it's an
a scrum.
absolutely colossal scrum from Cardiff.
Oh, and a bit of needle here. Freddie Davis getting into it.
The crowd are loving it, Dave. And that's picked him up. Couple of handbags being thrown for good measure.
What is Bingo doing there? I love that. A little bit of needle between the forwards, and Bingo Ivanisevic thinks, yeah, I'll have some of that.
Clearly not getting enough ball. He's coming in. He wants a bit of contact, bit of physicality. I love that from Bingo.
What a sensational turnaround, though. Who saw that coming after the first scrum?
I was slightly worried. I'm not going to lie. When I saw that first scrum go backwards at a rate of knots, I was concerned for Cardiff Met, but they've turned it around, and that was an absolutely monumental scrum.
Well, Cardiff Met win the penalty. They're back in the Durham half, and territory has been hard to come by for Met.
And is that Langdon? Yeah, Roderick Evans is back on the field.
So Roma Zheng, they're very excited about his pace. Him against Paul Brown, if the game does go wide, is a fascinating battle. Now Brown. Cardiff Met trying to go backwards to go forward. So Ali Stacey has a little dig for it. Nice hands there from Brown. Wasn't the best pass. He takes the carry, runs straight into Ewan Murphy. Shenton. House tries to stand him up.
It's a lovely offload there, out the back door in contact. Really good.
So Roderick Evans back on the field, which is good news for everyone involved. Ewan Shenton.
Cardiff starting to pick the pace up, which is good to see, and they're spreading the ball a bit more. So I think this game's going to start to open up. They're playing that traditional free-flowing rugby that Cardiff Met like and so well renowned for.
Well, Shenton wasn't expecting that, but he's done well to clean up. Now Brown. Options either side. Sylvester
was lined up there by Jamie Addison.
Yeah, didn't hit the line particularly hard. Here is Roma Zheng on debut. God, he eats a shoulder there. That's a big collision.
Apparently a direct descendant of Genghis Khan, Roma Zheng.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what he told me.
Now, the referee might bring a halt to proceedings here as there's a Durham player down and the physio on the pitch, but we see Bingo Ivanisevic with another lively carry. This is Nelson.
Bit of a hostile pass there, but they kept the ball alive. Opportunity out wide.
I think Brown took a look to his left there and saw that it was Archie Kirby and decided to hold on. So, Stacey, now Roderick Evans. Charles Rylands, a.k.a. Marcus Rashford, is into the 22. It's a show and go from Marley, but he's met with a Palatinate wall.
It's extremely good defence here from Durham. They're not committing many to the breakdown, so they've got numbers on feet, which is making it hard for Cardiff Met to break them down.
And Denty gets a little bit close to Ewan Murphy. So the referee does bring a halt to proceedings. 32 minutes on our play clock. But if you are watching at home, don't get too excited. It's not linked in with the referee's watch. So if it's a tight one and your team's leading when the clock goes red, breathe.
I think some of these players are happy with this slight stoppage in play. There's a couple of players are hands on knees, sucking in the air. But I like the fact that Brad Roderick Evans has come back on. You know, he is a fly half and a centre, so he's a ball playing centre. I think that adds an extra dimension to Cardiff Met. I think he's able to move the ball. They've got that option 1 out from 12, and they like to play an expansive, exciting brand of rugby, and I think he really adds to that. So it's great to see him back on the field and spreading the ball.
Defence is on top.
Yeah, it's one for the purists at the minute, 3-0. But it's been a great battle. You know, it's been entertaining. Like I said, it's two teams feeling each other out. Don't want to take too many risks this early in the season, but yeah, it's been a bit of a forward battle at the moment, which hopefully will open up as time goes by.
Well, Ewan Murphy making his way back to his teammates, which they'll be delighted to see. He's a potential superstar in this team, signed with Sale Sharks. He was named on the bench for the Premiership team at the end of last season. Bags of potential. Covers lock forward as well. That kind of versatility will definitely be utilised throughout this BSR season.
I think so.
Cardiff Met themselves have got a habit of making back rowers quality locks. I'm going to try not to mention him too often because it's all anyone seems to talk about with BSR, but of course Alex Dombrandt played most of his rugby in the second row.
He did, yeah.
In that season where Cardiff Met got to the final.
Tom Pearson as well, second row. He's moved to the back row now. He's signed for London Irish. Another one off the Archer production line. That's a great tackle there. Great
Harry
tackle.
Craven doing very well. And they've won the penalty as well. Big play from Harry Craven on Ewan Shenton.
He did not see that coming. He got him from behind, got him down early, and that's great work from the back row. But yeah, terrific hustle from the number, as all good nines do, snapping at your heels, giving you zero time to breathe.
They're the worst, aren't they?
Plenty. I've come across plenty of them in my time.
Five minutes to go until half time then. Harry Mercer hasn't made a huge amount of metres from that penalty kick, as I'm sure the well-behaved gentlemen in shirts and ties will have let you know.
Who do you think the rowdiest crowd in Super Rugby? Who would you put down?
Undisputedly Cardiff Met. I don't even think that's a question.
Who comes close? Who would you say comes? Who's second?
Who did I miss out before? I don't know about Swansea. I've not had the privilege to go there yet. Well, as Durham.
Being a Swansea boy, watching them a few times, they have a pretty hostile crowd.
Good.
So I think you'll enjoy the experience down to the famous St Helens.
Look at this drive from Durham here. They've made 10 metres pretty effortlessly. And this is a good platform as they go in search, and Sol Hyde goes again, gets the ball away. Hyde, good hands, and Craven manages to return the favour to Hyde. Gets driven forward by Jamie Adamson. Oh, that looked a bit late, but instead it's a penalty to Durham.
No, I think he swung it round. That was a bit of a cheap shot there coming in from Ewan Murphy.
Yeah, Morgan Nelson stayed down. When Durham come down to play at the Rock, home of Roslyn Park, they played Bath there the last couple of years. They bring a couple of coaches down, and of course a lot of their graduates go and get jobs in various parts of London. Those are brilliant nights, really, really good nights at the Rock. They'll sort of put some speakers in and play some terrible music. And then just what I like is that teams will put on big occasions. So Loughborough traditionally in Freshers Week, if they've had a home game, they'll fill the football stadium and have 3,000 or 4,000 there, and that's a fantastic night. We've already mentioned playing at Kingston Park or playing at the Rec or playing at Sandy Park. Hopefully all of these lads get exactly what they want out of rugby. If they want to play Premiership or Championship, or if they want to go abroad or play sevens, they get the opportunity to do that. But if they don't, and this is the pinnacle, imagine playing for Exeter University, the first team, at Sandy Park against Bath or Durham or Loughborough or Cardiff Met. You know, all these universities with incredible heritages who've produced internationals and Lions and Premiership winners. These are massive, massive occasions.
And even if if they go on to play better things, they'll always remember these fixtures. It will be memories they look back on, things they can't replicate, friendships they made for life. And
so, it's a loose line out from Durham, but they've somehow got away with that. Looked like it might have gone forward off Joe Murphy's hand, but referee says no, and Durham can continue to build in the 22. Just while the ball slowed down, Luke Northmore trains at Harlequins in a UIC t-shirt. There you go.
Never forget your roots.
Never forget your roots.
Stay humble. Love that.
Joe Murphy. It's an old school UIC one that he's bought off eBay as well. It's fantastic. As Freddie Davis puts his head down again. Now Jack Hill, an inside ball to Fletcher. Sorry, Mercer, I do apologise, at 10. It's a good shot by Marley.
He's very lively around the breakdown, is Craven. He's keeping those guards for Cardiff Met on their toes. Any slight movement and he's going to go through.
Really impressed with Durham's discipline in these parts of the field. It's easy to lose your head, to hold on, to knock the ball forward. Even when they've not got over the gain line, they just continue through their process. And with the clock as it is, this could be the last opportunity before half-time, and they'd love to get a 5-pointer. And they're closing in on one. Cardiff Met scrambling.
Great defensive work there from, I think it was Barnaby Waddle.
God, I think Mercer needed to shift that on one more as Freddie Davis.
They're knocking on the door, though. They're knocking on the door.
Marin House. 4 metres short. Big moments in the game here. Hamish Murray for the line. Hamish Murray's close. Hamish Murray's short. Oh, penalty.
That is silly, silly, silly play there. Will the ref go to his pocket?
Oh, he's reaching. And that is the first yellow card of the season for Cardiff Met. Bang on half-time. Matthew Marley goes to the bin.
Ill-discipline there. Durham knocking on the door, methodical in their phase play, making yards, and that's silly from Matthew Marley there. Silly, silly play, and it gives Durham the opportunity to get on the scoreboard right at half-time.
Well, they're stood like they're going to scrum, and Cardiff Met are forward down, of course. The blindside flanker going to the bin. What's the call here?
I think either option is a good one. Obviously, their line out, one of their strong points, but although they've been going backwards in the scrum, they are a player up, so it could be a potential opportunity. But we do have Fred Davis. I think Fred Davis is down, receiving treatment, so as skipper, he will be making the decisions. But how crucial is this yellow card going to be, Dave?
Well, in a tight game like this, Durham will be looking to capitalise. If they can pick up a 5, a 7... during this period, when opportunities have been at a premium, this perhaps the best opportunity of the half to score a try. And Matthew Marley has been pretty lively around the breakdown for Cardiff Met as well. I think they'll miss his energy.
Yeah, definitely. He's made a few crucial turnovers in this first half, and I think this will be a huge momentum swing. If Durham score a try, they'll go into half-time full of energy, but if Cardiff Met can keep them out, the confidence that'll do for them, that'll lift the crowd, lift their energy, and expect them to come out with a big second half. Huge couple of minutes here for both sides.
Yeah, this is massive. This will be the last play of the half. And here comes the famed Durham catch and drive. It's making its way towards the line. Freddie Davis assumes the position, and he goes early, Davis. And Cardiff Met shut down this phase. Ball bouncing around. Jamie Adamson sniffing around it. Manages to present the ball. And Durham reset again. It is going to be patient and painful for Cardiff Met here. Durham have already shown that they can go through the phases. Appealing Cardiff Met there for a potential knock-on, but no, says the referee. And Durham go again. Even Sol Hyde's offering himself.
It's a full turnover.
Cardiff Met have pinched it. I think touch might be the best option here.
And that is a massive turnover for Cardiff Met.
Although, interestingly, I did say about our clock, that is not going to be half-time, so Durham are going to have the chance to go again.
Morgan Nelson suffering with a bit of cramp.
No, cup final cramp he's allowed.
Is that a Kit Kat call? is that a take a break?
Yeah, is that a lung injury or a leg injury?
I don't know, but that was a crucial turnover there from Cardiff Met.
Yep.
Almost a full 50-man effort in that pick and go, and that'll do Cardiff Met a world of confidence. However, they still have that formidable catch and drive one more time to defend.
Cardiff Met 0, Durham 3. Harry Mercer's penalty after 2.5 minutes, the only score in what has been a real attritional battle. Say what you like about the conditioning, the preparation, it has been intense. It hasn't been played at a hectic speed, but it has been very physical, huge hits. Pretty well disciplined, to be fair. There've not been many penalties. A few early ones at the breakdown that the referee was hot on, but now Ewan Murphy gathers the ball. Freddie Davis assumes the position. And Durham come again. I think Davis might have broken off a little bit early last time. Bit more patient this time. Still in there.
It's a great maul defence from Cardiff Met.
Yeah.
They stopped him dead. In fact, they're driving him back.
So Craven has to take over. Another pick and go. This time it's Joe Murphy. Hamish Murray having a little look. Again, in no hurry. And this will be exhausting defence for Cardiff Met.
There'll be a few tired bodies out there. Lungs sucking it in. Shoulders on fire.
If I were Ollie Walker, wearing number 13, I'd put my hands in my pockets and walk away, because I don't think he's going to be getting the ball anytime soon.
Although Brown might as well chuck a subsuit on.
Although it is going one out, oh, so close to an interception. It was a great read by Sam Brown. Although I'd imagine he's quite relieved, because if he'd have had to go 90 metres...
I'm odds on not to go the distance. I mean, Danny Mill described him as the Andy Good of Cardiff Met, so I think that speaks volumes.
So the clock still going here, because it was an infringement, so now Durham will have a scrum platform. Again, it's a great position to scrummage from, but Cardiff Met with the wind in their sails at scrum time. However, they are without Matthew Marley, and all flankers tell me how important they are at scrum time.
Will we have a Johnny May example of a back coming in, not knowing where to put their head?
Well, what you've got to think as well is Ewan Shenton's going to have his wits about them, because if Durham go up the blind side, then Met will be a man short.
Interestingly, they haven't put a player in the scrum, so backing their 7 will be really, really interesting to see how this scrum goes.
I like the mix in the front rows as well. So you've got Freddie Davis, Durham through and through. Then you've got Hamish Murray and Matt Woodward either side of him. Not BUCS Super Rugby players, but Hamish has come through the Hartbury pathway. Matt Woodward has been coached at Newcastle Uni by Daz Fern, who's a BUCS Super Rugby legend, nearly won it with Northumbria. Then you've got Joe Carl, Morgan Nelson, Archie Kirby, Joe with the Dragons Academy, Morgan, who's a Wales under-18, and then Archie, who's had that good school grounding. But Cardiff Met have turned the ball over from the scrum. That ball does go dead, and that is a gargantuan defensive effort from Cardiff Met. That means they only trail by 3 points going into half-time. It's Cardiff Met 0, Durham 3, Cardiff Met down to 14, and they will be delighted with the last 5 minutes of that half.
That is a terrific defensive effort from the Cardiff Met forwards there. They battled hard, they dug deep, and they prevented Durham scoring, and they head into this half full of confidence. I think, especially after the last minutes, Ian Gardner will be super, super happy with his forwards' performance.
Cardiff Met 0, Durham 3, half-time here at King Coyd. Like you, like me, like everybody, we're just delighted that BUCS is back.
So we haven't played for a while, but that doesn't mean we're not ready. We've been putting in the work, putting in the miles, the hours, the weights, training, lifting, pushing ourselves, pushing each other, and now it's time. BUCS is back. The archers are ready. The broadcast crew are ready. This revolution will be televised. Bring it on. Watch BUCS Sport live on Cardiff Met Sport TV this season.
It's our great privilege to be joined by a Sevens international today. It's been so good to call the half with you, but isn't it typical? We bring you in as a professional try machine and we've got no tries to talk about at half time. But I've really enjoyed the game. What have been your thoughts?
Absolutely. It's not been the rip-roaring, fast-paced that we wanted from BUCS Super Rugby, but it's been a battle, and it's been a terrific battle at that. I think both sides, we talked about it, it's been an uncertain 18 months. They've been feeling each other out, but it's been a real battle of the forwards. I think Durham have thrown everything at Cardiff Met, and Cardiff Met responded extremely, extremely well. So, yeah, forward battle so far. Hopefully, it'll be more expansive in that second half.
Well, BUCS Super Rugby continues to grow. We're really excited this year. For the first time, we're going to be doing double headers with the Women's Super League as well. Tune in on a Wednesday for 2 games. There's a great programme here at Cardiff Met for both men and women. And Gabriella is pitchside now with some of the Cardiff Met women's team.
Well, I am joined with Amy and Freddie from Cardiff Met Women's Rugby Club. Girls, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
No problem. Of course, the BUCS has started for the men this evening, but when does it start for you? When's it all kicking off?
So it starts for us next week. We are actually playing Durham as well, but we're not home. We are away, so it's going to be a long journey. But we are looking forward to it very much. We were meant to have a friendly today against Hartbury, but because of the lack of fuel in the UK at the minute, we couldn't get there, which was quite sad. Yeah. So we will be going into it with a lack of gameplay, but we think we are ready for
a lot of excitement.
A lot of excitement, yeah.
But how has the preparations been for you then, girls? Because of course it's been a long time since you've played a match. So tell me how the preparations going into next week.
So we began training over summer. We got sent out some strength and conditioning programs, so got the girls really engaged before we even came to Met. We train twice a week, and we've done a lot of socials as well, which has really brought the team together. We do a mixture of field sessions and gym sessions. We've just been working as a team to get that bond and get that gameplay ready.
It's definitely feeling like a family right now.
Yeah,
100%.
This is the closest we've ever been, because we've just spent so much time in creating that bond between everyone. So when we go on the pitch, we're all so confident with each other. 100%.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. And of course, I bet there's a lot of new faces this season.
Yeah.
Are there any ones to watch?
There's quite a few to watch actually.
Yeah.
We've got a few players from Hartbury, one from Bath, and we've actually recruited an international player, or not, from the US. So I think, quite a few to watch.
We have a lot of players who have played rugby before, so they have that experience, they have that knowledge. So getting that on the pitch now will just boost everyone who hasn't really played before. So
yeah, we obviously still have a couple of our Welsh players, so like Lowry and Caitlin, who hopefully will be playing for us this season as well.
Yeah.
But there have been some famous faces coming from Cardiff Met. One archer who has been talked a lot the past few weeks is Jazz Joyce. How important is it to have people like Jazz Joyce to look up to in rugby?
So for us, that's just so inspirational, because it creates that pathway for us to play rugby at Cardiff Met and then have something to look forward to in the future. If we work hard enough, then there's no reason that we couldn't be where she is right now. For me, myself, that is something that I want to be and I want to aspire to be, so that's what we're going to push ourselves to do.
I think she's an amazing role model for especially the Welsh girls, because the Welsh rugby for the women's isn't as big as the men's, so to see a woman make it that far into the Olympics and all of that is amazing.
We just want to create that mindset with all the girls that that's something you can achieve in life if you actually push yourself to do that. So it's a good atmosphere for us to come into Met to have that.
Amazing. Thank you so much, girls, for chatting to me. Good luck for the season ahead. And back over to you, Dave, now on commentary.
Well, thank you, Gabriella, and good luck to Cardiff Met women. I want to pick your brains about Jazz Joyce in a minute, Chris, but before we do that, let's have a look at some of her best bits from recent times, because she's been incredible.
Joyce is electric. Joyce straight away. There she goes. Joyce catching everybody unawares. Tell me you're having a good time without telling me you're having a good time. It's Jazz Joyce.
Scotland away with the second half, but Jazz Joyce, former archer, remarkable talent.
Welsh Wonder Woman, Dave. I absolutely love her. I love everything she's doing. She has been on sensational form, and what an advocate, not only for Welsh rugby, for women's sport in general. She is an absolute class act at the moment.
Yeah, and I think it's great when you can make plays like that, and the way social media works, that goes viral. I think people realise that women's rugby is a worthwhile offering. I mean, I saw her for Bristol Bears last year in the Premier 15s, playing away at Harlequins. They conceded 60-odd points, but she scored a hat-trick and got player of the match. She is... some players, whatever it is, she's got it.
She's got it in spades, Dave. And she does it week in, week out, and that's the thing. And what I absolutely love about it, she plays with a smile on her face. She is absolutely loving every single minute of it. But it's not just her attack. You saw some of those clips there. It's the tracking back, it's the tenacity, it's the attitude, it's the work rate. She's got it all. And she has been a revelation recently. And what I got to say is she deserves to be a professional rugby player. So hopefully something can get sorted with the WRU or GB. And she can be, because she deserves to be a professional player.
That's a sight to see, isn't it? No, I absolutely agree, and I think most of the rugby public will as well. But you do have your opportunity to watch women's rugby this year on a Wednesday. So join me at Loughborough next week for that double header as Cardiff Met win their first line out of the second half. So is that Brad Roderick Evans at first receiver there? I wonder if he's...
No,
they've just interchanged, haven't they?
The big goose is still on. He's still pulling the strings at 10. Yeah, I think she scored 10 tries in Edmonton and 6 the week before in Vancouver. So 2 hat-tricks in 2 finals, 2 player of the finals. Yeah, you can't ask for much more than that as a sevens player, and it'll be interesting to see what happens now. GB playing 2 more rounds of the series as GB in Dubai, and then it's back to the individual countries, and of course Wales aren't on the series as women, so hopefully something can be put in place where she can still train and play as a professional rugby player.
Well, Brad Roderick Evans is going to have a go at the sticks here to level things. What I will say though is sevens has changed, mate, because back in my day no one used to chase back.
No one likes to chase it.
No one likes to chase.
As well as Jazz does it, there's nothing worse than turning around to see her running down your channel.
So Brad Roderick Evans looking for his first points in BUCS Super Rugby. Looks good. The flags go up. It's Cardiff Met 3, Durham 3, and Gabriella is with US superstar Ethan McVeigh.
So Ethan, thank you for joining me. Of course, you're currently injured, so you're not playing this evening. But how are your thoughts on the match so far?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm really happy with it. Really confident. You know, it's been 18 months without rugby. The boys have come in really well. We got some young guns as well, so we have a very young team, but plenty of development, and just excited to see where this season goes, and just excited to get back from injury.
So I know you've been playing back in the States as well earlier this year. What was that experience like?
Yeah, to be honest, it was absolutely surreal. Playing with the likes of Cecil Africa, I got to play with Chris Robshaw, just absolute legends of the game, just learning from them, running lines off them. It was just really good for my development, and just playing for my hometown was a great experience as well, something I'll remember for the rest of my life.
That sounds incredible. And how much are you looking forward now playing BUCS rugby again with the boys?
Yeah, I love getting down on a Wednesday night, everybody in their ones, just the uni student crowd. I'm a bit gutted I'm not out there right now, but just take my time with my injury, get after my rehab, and then I'll be back before you know it.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, best of luck, Ethan, for the rest of the season. Fingers crossed that leg gets fixed up soon. But opportunity here for Durham to get back ahead. Harry Mercer with a good kicking opportunity. Playing Major League Rugby, mate. What a rush.
What a sort of amazing sort of tournament that Major League Rugby has become. It started off as a bit of a gimmick, and it's grown, and now you have some of the best players in the world desperate to go over. But the quality on show is improving every year. And what do you make of LA Guiltinis? What a squad that is!
It's unbelievable. Well, I wonder if we might get a couple of the showbiz English players at the end of their career starting to go there. Someone like Danny Kerr, he's got Guiltini written all over him, hasn't he?
He definitely has, and there's a few have paved the way. But yeah, I think you'll see more and more players going over to the USA of A in the future with that Guiltini squad. Whoa.
Mercer.
They celebrated with a trip to Vegas.
Of course they did.
That is management done right.
Well, you can drive there, can't you? Cardiff Met 3, Durham 6. Brad Roderick Evans' penalty almost immediately cancelled out by Harry Mercer, who's 2 from 2 from the tee. Still waiting for our first live try of the BUCS Super Rugby season.
And there's that great feat from Jamie Addison, which she's shown.
Right, Paul Brown then looks to put the hammer down, gets the ball away. Sol Hyde on the support line. The centres linking up. Ollie Walker taking them straight back into the half. Tipped on by House, and now Tom Fletcher.
It's great offload work from Durham here.
Yeah.
It's changing the point of attack. It's keeping the continuity, and it's not allowing the Cardiff Met defence to get set.
Nick Jonas, so that's been spilt forward, and again, Cardiff Met hang on, looking to play inside their own 22 here. Oh, this is it. It's loosening up. Jack Sylvester getting on the end of an offload that was speculative, to say the least.
And I talked about the success of the Durham offload. Jamie Addison was not expecting that. He clocked him square in the face, and that's the reason Durham lost the ball. But they're trying to play, and it's great to see.
That's a good take by Roderick Evans. Now Sylvester, one more to Sam Brown. There's no one at home for Durham. Paul Brown's out of position. That's a 50-22.
I was going to ask Dave, is it? It's great to see. What do you make of that rule, Dave? What is your thoughts on it?
I prefer it to be a 40-22 because I think that would make it a much better kick. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, that's a great nudge, and now it's advantage Cardiff Met.
Huge kick there from Sam Brown.
Yeah. Well, and it was a great kick as well because he saw Paul Brown was in the line. He was out of position, so even if it hasn't gone dead, Paul Brown's got to chase back, and that's great awareness from Sam Brown. And Cardiff Met need to find their man. Oh, it's been tampered with, but Shenton manages to gather it. So the plan's out the window, and Cardiff Met reset through Rylands. That's Isaac Kayada, the replacement for Durham, wearing number 16. And Met up the blind side, tipped on by Joe Cowell. And there are players dropping like flies out there.
Yeah, I think a few of them had a bit too much salt in the pre-game on the bus down. This is what we talked about. You can't replicate any form of competitive rugby. It doesn't matter how hard you train, so these players' muscles will be aching, their lungs will be burning. And yeah, it's going to be a long old 40 minutes for some of these front tight 5 players.
Archers supporters, old and new, joining us at King Coyd this evening. A warm welcome to them and a warm welcome to you wherever you're watching around the world. What is that haircut in the bottom of your screen? Oh my, look at that.
I've got to admit though, a couple of bottles of wine in that stand. A couple of culture drinkers here in Cardiff Met. I can imagine they're only of the Echo Falls variety though.
Oh, it's a fine vintage.
No Chateauneuf-du-Pape going around in the stands there.
I mean, cast your mind back to uni. You were Reading as an undergraduate.
Reading University. We wore similar colours to Durham.
Okay.
Almost a Globo Gym Purple Cobras-esque kit.
Do you know who this lad is?
I have no clue.
That is
Simple Jack.
Yeah.
Tropic Thunder.
Wurzel Gummidge. That's a bad dude.
He must have lost a bet.
He thinks he. I don't know. He thinks he looks like Aaron Ramsey, but he definitely doesn't. Goodness me. Anyway, as we were. Is it so? What I love about Cardiff Met and all of the institutions is the fact that there will be old Cardiff Met students who were here in the 90s, 80s, 70s who still come and watch the team. It's a real legacy thing.
It is, and I think Durham have just set up a 1875 club, I think, to honour some of those older members and, you know, create that continuity with the club and try and get ex-players involved. And it's great to see it because you know, did you go to university yourself?
I was Loughborough.
Loughborough. So, you know, you leave university and you always, you get nostalgic about it. You always, you know, you live off those tales of university. So
Loughborough lot love to tell you they're from Loughborough. Yeah, Loughborough is for life. But you think about the heritage at Durham, you know, like Beaumont, Will Carling, Greenwood. Oh, Cardiff Met scrum going forward. Here's the advantage, and Shenton picks and goes. Cardiff Met looking for the first try of the new season. This is their first real venture into Durham's 22, and they're there with venom as well. Rylands adding his weight to the pick and go. Penalty advantage coming for Cardiff Met as well. Durham still, to our count, up a player as well. Oh, Durham doing very well to fill that gap on the blind side, holding up Shenton, who's had a fantastic engine for these opening 50 minutes now. Roderick Evans, they're struggling to bring him down. It was Henry Wills, another replacement, who's made the tackle.
They're keeping it tight, Cardiff, but Brad Denty has acres of space on this right-hand side if they did want to shift it out wide.
Dare you kick it when territory has been so few and far between. There is Matthew Marley, so he is out of the sin bin. Oh, it's been knocked on. Charles Rylands took the gamble, but we go back for the penalty.
He got a bit of a white line fever there. He tried to stretch for the line, did not make it. And as we can see, Joe Cowell, hands on the heads, breathing that air in. But much more positive play from Cardiff Met. And they've gone for the scrum.
Oh, they've gone for the scrum. That's huge. And Archie Kirby has walked over to the Cardiff Met faithful and asked them for all their noise and all their support, and they've responded in kind.
What a place to have a scrum, right in front of the Ultras.
So Willem Vos is warming up. We're in number 19. He is a Dutch teammate of Marin Hoos. Oh, Sam Brown going over for a consultation. This feels like a big moment in the match.
I think so. Just as Cardiff kept out Durham at the end of that half, they'll be hoping to make a breakthrough here, and if they do, I think it's game on.
Cardiff Met 3, Durham 6. 2 penalties for Mercer, 1 for Brad Roderick Evans. The only scores in this game. The first live BUCS Super Rugby match that we're bringing to you in 18 months, and it's been a long 18 months. There's a full schedule of fixtures. The one confirmed result is Leeds Beckett putting 50 points on Bath. Cardiff Met defended for their lives at the end of the first half. Durham forced the pressure, forced Matthew Marley into the sin bin, and now find themselves in exactly the same position as the one they were attacking 15 minutes ago. Bingo Ivanisevic waiting with his hands on his hips. He'd love to get his hands on the ball here. He's just inside the left post. Always think it's a brave call to go for a scrum here as well.
But with Cardiff Met scrum in the ascendancy, they're looking very, very dominant. I think it's the correct call. But times like these, you often see strange decisions being made. The ref will be under pressure, but with the crowd fully behind Cardiff, I think this could lift them here. Huge, huge scrum.
So Freddie Davis off after what looked like a good first half. Full of energy was Davis. As Isaac Kayada on, known as Carrot.
Carrot.
They're very excited about him.
He can really see well in the dark.
Yeah, he could do. Or maybe they've got a Welsh contingent and he's a moron. But interestingly, he's Wasps Academy, but he arrived as a loose head prop and he's transitioned to hooker, worked really hard on his fundamentals.
We'll have to see how his dart stands up to the test of time. Fred Davis, obviously very, very good, so he's got a good mentor in Fred.
So Ali Stacey on the ball. Durham looking to get the nudge on early. Oof. Free kick. Do you go again?
Ewan Shenton thinking about tapping and going. He's gone back to the scrum.
That tap penalty, that tap free kick decision looked like it was happening in slow motion. He did not know where he was there. Have you got some latest scores?
Yeah, we can go to the Swansea game where Exeter dominate them 37 points to 3.
Crikey.
That is 48 minutes gone. So a huge, huge start from Exeter, who'll be looking to get back with a top of the Super Rugby table potentially.
It is attritional here though. Cardiff Met camped in the Durham 22. Harry Craven making a nuisance of himself. The scrum starts to go forward again. Shenton having to do good footwork at the back. It's another penalty advantage coming, but Cardiff Met want more. A pick and a go. Durham's turn to build a wall and defend for their lives. They're going to put some width on it here. Sam Brown with the crossfield kick. There's space out wide. That is a superb catch from Will Morris. But we'll go back for the penalty. So more changes for Durham. That's Will Morris in the red scrum cap. And that is a try-saving intervention from the replacement back.
Great take in the air from Will Morris. He's only a slight character, but he got up, hands above the head. Terrific take. Textbook fullback.
And he's another player who they brought in. He can cover 12, 13, 11, 14 and 15.
I think the only fresher in the Durham side, I believe.
Part of the Bath Academy setup as well. Got Marin Hoos in there, giving the forwards a talking to. Probably just buying them a little bit of time as Michael Carr has come on as well, known as Mickey. Been told that he's more athletic than he looks, but I didn't say that. That was his club captain. And Monty Royston on as well. So it's an all-new front row for Durham. Kayada, Royston and Carr. Royston, the only one who was involved towards the back end of that championship winning season.
Oh, it's against the head, and Durham have... Oh,
they won the penalty!
Yeah. I don't know why they're celebrating, even though they've been completely tucked up, but you cannot lift a player off the floor. That is illegal.
Well, that is huge for Durham. Cardiff Met physically dominant in the scrum. But the hooker, the new hooker, the prop turned hooker, has pinched one against the head.
That's two today. Don't see one, barely see one in a game, but great work from the new front row there. That eases the pressure a significant amount for Durham, and lets them off the hook there.
And just like that, we're 15 minutes into the second half. Even though it's not all action, this game absolutely flying by. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching around the world. We're certainly enjoying bringing it to you. It's BUCS Super Rugby, Cardiff Met versus Durham, live from King Coyd. And it is a gritty one.
And we talked about his darts. Would they stand up? First line out in front of the Cardiff Ultras as well. You can't get more pressure than that. And the referee's called it not straight.
So that is his first line out in BUCS Super Rugby in front of the most hostile crowd in BUCS Super Rugby. Penny for them.
Hands the ascendancy back to Cardiff, and they have a great platform here to build from. I'd like to see him spread it wide, get it out to Roderick Evans, potentially Denty on this right wing.
Oh, better scrum from Durham this time. This scrum absolutely fascinating. Bit of afters there from Marin.
You and Shenton have to use every inch of those long arms to pull that ball out then. And I think if they're lucky to come back with it, potential knock on there, but scrum's been reset.
Yeah, this new front row for Durham look fired up. Still the same personnel for Cardiff Met. They've got Harry Sutherland, David Afori-Mantu and Rhys Barrett as their front row replacements. Both Afori-Mantu and Barrett cover the loose and the tight head side. And Sutherland will be desperate to come on because there is lots of competition for hooker at Cardiff Met this year, so a good 15-20 minutes here will really stand him in good stead.
Yeah, I'm excited to see when this Cardiff bench does come on what they can bring. We already talked about Morgan Lloyd, young scrum half there, but you've got Willem Vos, the Netherlands international, Rhys Barrett, Blues Academy prop, and Will Rigg. I'm sure that Cardiff have got some good songs about Will Rigg.
Some write themselves. Now Durham get the shift on, so Shenton brings it early. Oh, Ivanisevic hit the line, but the ball bounces forward. Now Durham can counter-attack.
Great tackle there from Ali Stacey.
Jamie Adamson fumbles it but does well to gather it, and Roma Zheng making a nuisance of himself, and Met win the penalty, a kickable penalty as well.
And he's pumped. Roma Zheng is pumped.
Now, points or corner?
It's a tough one. With the boot of Roderick Evans, I got a feeling they could go points, but I'd throw caution to the wind here if I was the Met, and I'd go for the corner.
There's something deliciously old school about this game. 3-6, we didn't expect it, because the surface is playing beautifully. I've got to credit them here at King Coys, because this pitch comes in for a lot of stick. Not stick as in people saying it's a bad pitch, but stick as in a lot of rugby gets played on it, but it's always a surface that plays well.
It's a great track, and not sure what it's been like in your part of the world, but it was absolutely horrific. Yeah, biblical rain here, so it's great to see the groundsman working hard. And a fast track, unfortunately not quite the fast rugby we were expecting, but I've thoroughly enjoyed this game so far. It's been a right arm wrestle between both sides, and yeah, great start to Super Rugby here at the Met.
Yeah, I wasn't too worried about queuing up for a petrol station yesterday, because I thought I was going to have to row here, to be honest. But Brad Roderick Evans, this is just his second attempt. His opposite, Harry Mercer, is 2 from 2. That's Durham 6 points. They were 3-0 up at half-time. The teams have exchanged penalties in the 20 minutes of this second half. This is Brad Roderick Evans' opportunity to draw the scores level. And it feels as though Cardiff Met will need something to take away from this sustained period of pressure. He's made it look easy. Cardiff Met 6, Durham 6, as you were into the last 20 minutes.
Absolute cannon of a boot from Brad Roderick Evans. Laser accurate as well.
Neither of them have been particularly easy penalties, but I'd imagine Durham will have taken that after 10 minutes of pretty sustained pressure. A couple of penalties in their own 22. Now they've got the chance to kick deep for Cardiff, who are making a change. Joe Cowell is making his way to the bench. Which of the props will be replacing him? As I said, both cover both sides. Is that Rhys Barrett wearing 18?
Yeah, Rhys Barrett, the Blues Academy prop. Be interested to see what he can do. Young player, but I'm sure he's had tons of experience at the Blues. Great tackle there from Denty, stopping Adamson in his tracks.
Interesting that Adamson, as the open side, is covering that wing. They obviously back him in open play.
Well, he's sure got the skills to and the speed to show if he's been training with Team GB7 squad.
There's Monty Royston, the replacement prop in the blue scrum cap. And Harry Craven calling Adamson in.
There. Great disrupting there from Cardiff Met.
Oh, good footwork on the chase as well. There's Brown, just pumps it down the middle. Will Morris is underneath it. Step off the left foot, so good that he nearly lost his own balance. Oh, Cardiff Met dishing the shots in midfield. And into touch as well.
The crowd are loving that. Great defensive work right there. You know, Will Morris, very, very good footwork, but he's contained.
If it's that loud for a tackle, can you imagine what it's going to be like if they score a try?
That first try, if it's Cardiff Met.
Oh, he's going for the posts. They've won the penalty. This is a tough kick. Both kickers 100% at the moment. Cardiff Met a couple of penalties consecutively. And Brad Roderick Evans obviously backing himself here. And we will know immediately if this is going over or not, because it is right in line with the Cardiff Met faithful. Brad Roderick Evans to put Cardiff Met into the lead for the first time this BUCS Super Rugby season.
He's pulled that one, unfortunately.
Tough kick. And the score remains Cardiff Met 6, Durham 6.
Couple of score updates from you. It is Loughborough 17, Hartpury 11.
Oof.
And Exeter are still dominating Swansea University 40 points to 3.
And that's at Hartpury as well, isn't it?
That is at Hartpury. So Loughborough going well.
But again, that's a battle. That's not a high-scoring game.
These first couple of rounds, like we said, teams feeling each other out, also get to know their own squads after 18 months of inactivity. And I spoke to Danny Milton before the game, and he talked about just trying to reconnect the club with the fans and the supporters. And, you know, with that, the Cardiff fans here today, it seems like they're doing that.
Well, the 22 has been charged down, so Cardiff Met back on the ball, 15 metres up the pitch, further than they thought they'd be. Roderick Evans gets over the gain line very well. He's got Jack Sylvester in behind him. Cardiff Met have not yet really rung the changes, so there'll be some tired bodies out there as Rhys Barrett takes his first carry. Bit of space up the left-hand side now. Paul Brown just about scrambles the tackle and the ball's gone loose. It's another penalty to Cardiff Met, and the referee moonwalking towards the 22. Is there going to be a yellow card? Marin House, the stand-in captain, gets the bad news.
Yeah, I think the ref said putting a shoulder in there. But Cardiff Met exploiting the Durham blindside there. I think they were very short, folding round, and opportunities to attack, especially now they're down to 14 men. Roma Zeng showing his talent and his strength. Great carry.
And it's Sol Hyde who's been sent to the bin, and he is one of the defensive talisman for Durham. And in a battle like this, you want men like Hyde on the park. And again, it is posts for Met. Another tough kick, but an opportunity for Roderick Evans to get back on the horse. You're on 10-minute warning, by the way, Chris. You're on man of the match duty this evening. But, you know, tease me a little bit. I don't want you to go straight in.
All right.
But there have been some impressive performances.
There have.
On both sides. Just a reminder, if you're watching at home, you can follow up BUCS Super Rugby on all the socials. Use the hashtag as well. Let us know who you think has been man of the match this evening, as Brad Roderick Evans looks to kick Cardiff Met into the lead again. Listen for that reaction as soon as the ball goes up. Well, they've left 6 points out there as we approach the last 10 minutes. How costly could that be?
It's big for Cardiff Met. Choosing to go for the post. Durham down to 10 men. 10 men, 14 men, sorry, apologies. We're not watching football here.
This is not soccer.
But I love the deathly silence that falls upon.
Oh, as soon as there's just a groan. So I was lucky enough to watch a lot of rugby behind closed doors during that period where fans couldn't come. And then when the fans came back and a penalty was missed and they start to groan, you're like, oh, I'd forgotten this. This seems really harsh on the kicker. Jack Sylvester with another positive carry. Here's Afori Mantu, the Harlequins man. First touch for him. Ewan Shenton.
The Cardiff fans are not happy with that tackle from Paul Brown.
It's an advantage coming again. That's another one for Brown, you know. He was involved just before the yellow card, Paul Brown. He's getting his feet in the wrong position. He's certainly up for it, though, Brown. He's committing.
He's committed. But Cardiff making use of that blind side. A zigzag pattern down the field. They're getting some good success.
Feels as though a little while since Durham have had any ball, and I think Cardiff Met will be concerned that they've not kept the scoreboard ticking over.
Yeah, they've been very much in the ascendancy for this latter part of this second half, but they've not got any points to show for it. 6-all at the minute. They'll be hoping to capitalise on the yellow card.
Decent metres there from Sam Brown. That one just a little bit out of Brad Roderick Evans' range.
And Willem Vos is on the field.
Ah, the two Dutch internationals, Vos and House. You spent much time in the Netherlands? Ever played rugby there?
Never been to the Netherlands. Never been. Yourself?
Yeah, lovely part of the world. Good people.
The Amsterdam Sevens is meant to be a fantastic event. I'd love to play there. I'm sure the after party is half decent as well.
Are you just touting yourself for an invitational?
Yep. Emails are open.
That's Chris Knight, everyone, available for invites to play in Superstar International Sevens tournament.
My playing days are over, unfortunately, but
I think it's important that you say that before Danny Milton tries to drag you into a Wednesday night here at Kincoid.
I would not like some of these large units coming down my channel, that's for sure.
No, there are some specimens.
There are some absolute Goliaths out there.
Cardiff Met with a line up this time. That line you can see is the 22, and that is gathered by Barney Langton. Got Harry Sutherland with the headband and the number 16 adding his 100 and something kilos to proceedings. It's well defended by Durham, and Paul Brown making a nuisance of himself again, and Brad Roderick Evans pulled down outside the 22. Cardiff up the blind side, and huge credit to Durham, their line speed. Ewan Murphy still with the energy as a Fori Mantu.
It's stopping Cardiff Met in the tracks, their line speed. One out runners though, if they do get caught, potentially there is opportunity on the outside.
Sam Brown kicking for space, trying to force Durham to break the play up, so they just hoof it downfield now. Bingo Ivanisevic steps and goes the long way round. Ivanisevic, good turn of pace and gets away. Ivanisevic, oh, another dummy when perhaps it could have gone. He's handed it off to Harry Sutherland. Superb tackle from Jack Hill when Sutherland was home and hosed, but Cardiff Met with the best opportunity of the match to score. Does Brad Denty ground it? Brad Denty does ground it, and Cardiff Met lead for the first time in the match with the first try of the match. It's Cardiff Met 11, Durham 6. It's been a long time coming for those supporters, but it was worth the wait.
Got to give it to Bingo Ivanisevic. He went on a weaving run. I did not know where he was going. He sold a dummy. Honestly, fantastic play from the centre, and well finished by Bradley Denty in the corner. Great pass though from Ali Stacey to pick him out. Terrific work there from Cardiff Met.
What about the defence from Durham though? The cover defence. They'll think themselves desperately unlucky to leave 5 points down, but the chase when Harry Sutherland was home and hosed. What about that from Jack Hill?
Great tackle there. Unfortunately, it's ended up with a try, but Harry Sutherland, I bet his eyes lit up when he saw that space, only for Jack Hill to come in and completely blindside him. But Bingo Ivanisevic, what a break from that man.
Well, Ivanisevic has been quiet, not touched the ball for 20 minutes, and then made a potentially game-changing, game-winning contribution. Tough kick for the right footer now, Brad Roderick Evans.
Huge kick.
To give Met a bit of breathing space. And he's got it. He has got it. He's shaken off those two penalty misses to drain one from the touchline. And it's Cardiff Met 13, Durham 6.
What a crucial kick that is. It gives Met a bit of breathing space and means it's a two-score game for Durham to win this now. They've got to get a try to draw things level and 2 scores to win it. Huge, huge from Brad Roderick Evans.
Durham go deep with the restart. And Cardiff Met with a spring in their step. How about that from the try scorer Denty? Makes 10 metres there through a second rower that he had no right to do.
Huge exit this from Cardiff. Don't want to let Durham back into the game straight away.
Morgan Lloyd, the replacement scrum half, former Dragons Academy. Man, that's gone out on the full.
That is a monster kick, but unfortunately it's gone the wrong side of the white line. He'll be disappointed with that. That lets Durham back into the game in a very good position.
Well, if that drops a metre the other way, it's a 50-22, and we're talking about a game-breaking moment.
It's a game of yards, and unfortunately he's come on the wrong side of it.
This is your first BUCS Super Rugby commentary, isn't it?
It is, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it alongside the master himself.
Welcome to the curse. Oh, they've gone to the back and it's not straight.
We talked about his darts, and that's 2 from 2 now. He'll be feeling the pressure.
My first ever BUCS Super Rugby commentary, I was in charge of man of the match. Exeter were beating Hartpury at Hartpury. I gave man of the match to Cy Linsell, who's now with Ealing Trail Finders. He was captain of Hartpury Championship team, and then he went and did a season with Gloucester. I literally awarded him man of the match. Hartpury went the length of the field and scored, and it was the most awkward interview of all time afterwards. We gave him a bottle of champagne, and I bet it tasted like vinegar. In a couple of minutes' time, you're going to have to choose a man of the match with a game that's currently with a 1-score difference. So maybe it'll be my chance to pass the curse on to you. Either way, we will leave it as late as we possibly can for you to choose the man of the match here, the first man of the match that we get to award this season in BUCS Super Rugby, and what has really been a fabulous game. If you've just tuned in, don't let the scoreline fool you. This has been a great battle between two very, very physical teams.
It's been a titanic battle, and it's been great to watch. You know, the scoreline may not represent that, but for me, it's been an enthralling encounter between two very physical sides that have done battle up front.
Into the final 5 minutes. Just a reminder that our clock is not linked in with the referee's watch, so when it hits 80, there might still be some rugby to play. So Morgan Lloyd with the feed. Durham looking to turn the screw, and Ewan Shenton doing some lovely work. And that's a good knock from Sam Brown, just to relieve the pressure. Brad Denty still chasing, but Will Morris with a bit of space to run into. Goes outside of the boot, I like it.
Bit of football control there from Shenton.
Good job, he's a rugby player. Sylvester ships it on one.
Claims he's played with Phil Foden in his youth, though. That was his fact he gave me. Not quite believe that with a touch like that.
Well,
unless he was
very different careers, yeah. Oh, Sylvester gets tipped up by Henry Wills. Now the ref could have a look at this. No, happy to play on.
That is very forward there, unfortunately. Ref's not going to give that tackle.
Interesting.
Looked legitimate to me. Didn't lift him. I just think he was the old leg chop.
Sometimes when you see body angles like that, I've watched enough rugby to think that it means something. But the referee, very close. Happy with the decision. So next stoppage then, we'll talk man of the match. And again, just tease me a little bit. I don't want to know who it is straight away. And we will be hearing from coaches and players at the end of the match, so do stick with us when the full-time whistle goes. The show continues. This is the first BUCS Super Rugby match of the year. It's a packed calendar. Next week it's the doubleheader up in Loughborough, so join me for that, the Women's Premiership game and the Men's BUCS Super Rugby game. This production this evening has been brought to you by Cardiff Met Sport TV, so give them a follow on all the socials as well. I think we'll all agree they've done a fabulous job.
Yeah, terrific production here from Cardiff Met Sport TV, as they always do.
Last chance saloon then for Durham. Jonty Cope, ball in hand. Braden Barrett has come on as the open side flanker as well. Oh, Durham have won the penalty just as Cardiff Met have turned the screw. The scrum has been fascinating.
It's been a titanic battle. Both teams, it's been like a pendulum swinging back and forth, each team in the ascendancy.
So Patrick Bishop has come on to make that kick. He's another one who's a second year, who arrived as a fresher and didn't play any rugby and is only just getting to know his teammates now. So right, next stoppage, not this stoppage, because it's, you know, close to the 22. You can give me your man of the match. You might not have time to tease me now. But that's good ball to the front. Jamie Adamson takes it. Oh, and this could be the curse, because Durham are starting to march. Then comes the counter from Cardiff Met. That pendulum swings once more. Jamie Adamson with his hands on the ball. Marin House making the tackle on his own man. Sol Hyde back on the pitch, tucks it and goes. Sam Brown makes the tackle. And then he goes again, Sol Hyde, such a strong player.
Cardiff Met being squeaky clean here, staying away from the breakdowns, not biting at any opportunity.
Big shot by Marley there. Now here's Kayada, backed up by Braden Barrett. Patrick Bishop. He's got Ollie Walker there. Sol Hyde in behind. Cardiff Met just looking to slow things down.
I think they've held him up here.
Well, the referee giving Durham every opportunity to find the floor. Let's talk man of the match.
Yeah, there's a few people caught my eye. It's been a bit of an attritional game up front. You know, Matthew Marley been terrific in the loose. Did collect a yellow card, I think. Both second rows putting a big shift in, but for me it's been Brad Roderick Evans, number 12. He's shown some touches of class, great footwork, great distribution skills, and although he's missed two, he slotted some crucial kicks from long distances. So my man of the match is number 12, Brad Roderick Evans.
Congratulations, Brad.
Couple of pints for him this evening.
Oh, a couple of somethings. I'm fascinated by him. I think at times this season we'll see him at 10, we'll see him at 12, we might even see him at 15.
So it's a great talent to have, to be able to play across that back line, and yeah, he's put another one, Bingo Izanizovic, the South African. He's made some great breaks, obviously instrumental in that Cardiff Met try. You know, he's unlucky to miss out, but yeah, Bradrick, he went off briefly, but he's has some moments of class, especially with ball in hand.
Now our clock has hit 80 minutes, so we will set the scrum. We don't have the benefit of the referee's mic, so we don't know if time is off. Ewan Shenton again doing the scrum half work from 8. There is still time on the clock because Brad Roderick Evans, man of the match, has taken the ball into contact. Durham penalty! Durham penalty, unbelievable.
Huge moment in the game here. Do they go scrum? Do they go to the corner? It is.
Well, Durham have gone for the corner. We've just seen the clock in the stadium is on 0. This is absolutely huge.
Huge pressure on the substitute hooker Isaac here. Last chance saloon, and huge defence here from Cardiff Met, needed to maintain this Durham attack.
Well, Cardiff Met end the second half as they ended the first, as did Durham, 5 metres shy of the Cardiff Met line. Durham, without a try in this opening fixture, have the opportunity to do so. It's been fumbled at the front. Referee says it's gone backwards, so the ball's in open play, and Isaac Kayada takes it in field. That'll help Durham, because if they do score, they want to do it as close to the post as possible to give Patrick Bishop the opportunity
another penalty
to kick the penalty.
Cardiff Met got to be careful here. Some
everyone's
nervous supporters here.
Well, Durham with a phenomenal opportunity to get to within 2, then have the kick to tie the match. Ewan Shenton's down. He looks a little bit groggy there. Sol Hyde was sniffing around, but he'll be out of the next few phases. Marin House was there.
It's physical, it's attritional.
Could throw a blanket over about 14 players there.
Huge defence coming in from Cardiff.
Big tackle from Marley. Well, what an end to this fascinating encounter. Durham so disciplined, so well drilled in these close environments.
Durham want to be careful they don't get held up here.
Oh, there's a dive for the line. Referee's going to have to battle. Cardiff Met flooding to the open side. Ball's down. Referee's having a look. Durham think they've done it. Durham have done it! Durham under the post with the last play of the game. The conversion to come is the most simple it could be. And this epic opening night encounter is going to end with honours even.
They've silenced the crowd. It's gutting for Cardiff Met, but it's just reserves for Durham, who've been hammering away at the line for the last 5 minutes. heartbreak here in the final seconds.
Cardiff Met 13, Durham 11. Patrick Bishop on as a late replacement. He's going to take his time over this. But he's got the chance to be the hero. So that try has guaranteed Durham a losing bonus point. This will add the extra point for the draw.
Still time.
Oh, okay. Okay. Looks like the stadium clock was out as well.
Interesting. An opportunity perhaps to someone to steal it. Not quite heartbreak just yet.
Cardiff Met 13, Durham 13. The clock is on 0.
This is going to be a huge exit for Durham.
And the ball hasn't gone dead, so there's still time on the clock. Good take, the chase coming in from Paul Brown. And oh, another break for Cardiff Met. Here is Jack Sylvester. He's threatened to do that a few times this evening. Oh, Ewan Shenton ships it on one more.
Huge tackle there coming in from the substitute Isaac Kader.
Well, Durham turned this over.
They've got to be careful here not to go off their feet.
Which way's the referee's arm going? Cardiff Met.
And that is the game, is it?
Well, the ball was slammed down there by Rhys Barrett, but they're shaping up for the scrum. No, full time, done. And I think the body language of all the players tells you exactly how they feel about that. We don't get many ties in BUCS Super Rugby, but Cardiff Met 13, Durham 13, probably a fair reflection on the opening night.
I'd say so. I think it was very little to separate these two sides. It was a titanic battle. It was one for the purists, forward dominated, physical, attritional, but it was a terrific encounter. I think it's just rewards for both teams. So, yeah, evenly split, and congratulations to both. I think we got a few other scores here. I think Exeter have absolutely trounced Swansea, 57 points to 3. Away from home, huge victory from them. Loughborough are still winning, 17 points to 11, final 10 minutes there.
Cool, that sounds tight.
And Cardiff Uni have come away from their home fixture with a bonus point win, 43 points to 24 at home against Northumbria.
Well, they've hit the ground running. Well, so Cardiff Uni, of course, one of the promoted teams. They've really threatened to push on. They've got themselves close to the playoffs. That's a great start for them. Hopefully not a sign of things to come for Northumbria, who are rebuilding after that golden era. But let's concentrate on this. Full time at Kincoid. Cardiff Met 13, Durham 13. Is that 2 points gone, or 2 points lost, or 2 points gained? It's so hard to tell at this point of the season.
It's extremely hard to tell. I think Durham will be the happier of the two sides. You know, it's an away game. It's been, like I said, a long 18 months of both sides. They're both trying to feel their way out, and I think they both wanted to get back to a winning start. But I don't think both teams will be disappointed, but I think Durham will be feeling the more positive of the two. What's your thoughts, Dave?
It's a tough one. I mean, heroics from Durham, because they were under the pump for long periods of that second half. Cardiff Met really grew into the game after what I think they'll look back on as a very shaky opening 15 minutes. They could have been even further behind. But 13-13, plenty to build on. I mean, a defeat would be a disaster for either of these teams in the opening game of the season. Cardiff Met at home, they want to put on a great show. Durham, of course, the defending champions, but more on that later, because right now Gabriella is with Danny Milton.
So Danny, probably not the result you wanted today to finish on the draw. You almost had it there, but what are your thoughts at the end of the result?
Well, we always knew today was going to be a tough game with Durham. Always a fantastic outfit, well coached, and certainly the first 20 minutes they probably shocked us a little bit with the intensity and physicality they brought. We were really pleased with how we came back into the game, and you know, I think it would be fair to say we had a fair bit of scrum dominance there, which certainly got us back with a foothold in the game. And yeah, I think we thought we'd done enough to get the win, but obviously gave away a couple of soft penalties there towards the end, which allowed Durham back into it, which is obviously very disappointing from our point of view. But 13-all against, no doubt, one of the top teams in BUCS Super Rugby, is something we'll take from it.
Yeah, well, definitely a lot of positives to take from it. What were your personal highlights from the game?
I think one of us would be the sort of the scrum dominance. We know we've got a good scrum this year, and to see the boys do so well in that area, a real good outfit, and pleased with that as a performance. And some of Brad Roderick Evans' kicking today was excellent, and we'll be disappointed, but there are a lot of individual performances there that we can be really proud of.
Of course, next week a big fixture, the Cardiff clash away. How are you feeling for that, and how are you going to prepare now?
Well, it's always an exciting one, so hopefully the boys will recover well now tomorrow, get some training in, S&C Friday, train Saturday, and look forward to that game, which obviously is a really exciting one in the calendar. So.
And of course tonight was the first time you had the home crowd in quite a while. What was it like being able to play in front of those again?
I think that's the benefit of, we're so fortunate to have the Archers and the Ultras who come out. We've had sort of over 200 guys play rugby today here, and while this is the pinnacle that we all want to aspire to have all those guys in the club and that support, a lot of meaning for us.
Well, Danny, thank you for joining me. Good luck for the rest of the season, and good luck for next week's Cardiff clash.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye now.
Thanks, Gabby. The thoughts of Danny Milton there, Cardiff Met Director of Rugby. The two teams gathered there in the middle, and body language-wise, they both look like they've tasted defeat.
Yeah, it was an interesting, when the ref blew the final whistle, we didn't know if the game was over.
No.
The players didn't. It was a deathly silence, and I think that shows that both teams are disappointed. Obviously, both teams wanted to win, but like we've talked about, it's a fair result. But that first half, I think it was all Durham. Cardiff, under huge amounts of pressure, did extremely well to keep them out with that 5-metre scrum, and then in the second half, it flipped on its head. Cardiff Met dominant. Durham down to 14 men. Cardiff Met would have been disappointed not to capitalise on that yellow card, but Durham, clock against them. They came back heroically to salvage a draw, and I think it's a fair reflection here. So yeah, great opening match here. Yeah, fantastic performance.
More post-match reaction to come from Gabriella as she just waits for a few interviewees to step into her lair. Just a reminder of the shape of the game then. Harry Mercer opened the scoring with a penalty after 2.5 minutes. It was Durham's first venture into the 22. It was 3-0 at half-time. Cardiff Met went down to 14 when Matt Marley was sin-binned just before the break. Then Cardiff Met came into the game. They equalised through a Brad Roderick Evans penalty. Mercer kicked another penalty almost immediately after. Then Cardiff Met started to take a bit of a hold of the game. Brad Roderick Evans levelled things at 6 apiece, then missed 2 penalties. He left 6 points out there, which ended up being costly. Bingo Ivanisevic showed a few flashes in the first half, but then made a vital break in the second half. Harry Sutherland had the opportunity to go over, but Brad Denty scrambled over right in the corner. Then Brad Roderick Evans kicked the conversion to make it 13-6. That was the first time Cardiff Met had led in the game. Then from the kickoff, ebbed, flowed, bit of an arm wrestle, but those back-to-back penalties in the 22 right at the end of the match. Durham took full advantage, but they were real coach killers for Cardiff Met.
They were crucial, and I know they'll be disappointed to give away those penalties in crucial areas, in vital moments of the game, but you've got to say Isaac Cater stepped up when it matters. That line-out, he'd missed 2 out of 2 so far. It was a huge pressure on him. It didn't quite go to hand, but they regrouped, they battered away at the Cardiff line, and just rewards, they got that try. Great effort from the Durham squad.
Still more to come from Gabriella, but let's talk about the replacement front row for Durham then, because Murray, Davis and Woodward started the first half dominant in the scrum. Then Cardiff Met got on top. Kayada, Royston and Carr came on and really turned things around for Durham, really shored up that set piece.
Yeah, they changed the game a little bit there. I think Cardiff Met were having huge success in that scrum, very dominant, and that was putting huge pressure on the Durham. They couldn't get any front foot ball, and when they came on, they sort of balanced that back out, almost went into the ascendancy, and I think it eased that pressure on the Durham set piece, and it put them on the front foot, and it gave them a platform to move forward.
Ewan Shenton's work rate?
Fantastic. I think it was a big shift from him. He led from the front. Really, really good effort. For me, another player who did really well, Harry Craven at 9. I thought, although Ewan Shenton had some big carries, he was constantly on his heels, made some great tackles and really stopped him at source a fair few times.
Gabriella is now with Durham captain Freddie Davis.
So Fred, probably not the result you wanted today. I'm sure you wanted to come here and get the win, but what are you feeling after that match?
Sort of mixed emotions, I guess. We know it's a really hard place to come, first game of the season, but I think probably in learning outcomes it's probably a good result for us. I think it would probably be unfair one of the teams to win there, and it's probably matched the game in itself. But we can take a lot from it. There was a few things we left out there, and a couple of things we can take from it. So yeah, we can learn on a long bus journey home.
Yeah, and of course I know you have got a long bus journey. But your next play at home to Exeter. How will you prepare for that match now?
So that's a big earmark game for us, sort of a varsity charity game at home. So very different. We won't have to deal with the fatigue and travel. But again, massively exciting. It's just been nice to get back playing again.
Well, thank you very much for joining me. Good luck for the rest of the season, and yeah, hopefully the next one pays off.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great to hear from the skipper, and he's going to have a great season. He was limping over though, so hopefully that injury's not too bad. Chris Knight, final thoughts?
I think terrific game of rugby, despite the scoreline not being the expansive rugby we wanted. It's been a attritional battle between two fully committed sides, and it's just great to have BUCS rugby back.
Certainly is. Great to have your company this evening, Chris. Great to have your company wherever you've been watching around the world as well. Honours even here at Kincoid, but the good news, BUCS is back.
So we haven't played for a while, but that doesn't mean we're not ready. We've been putting in the work, putting in the miles, the hours, the weights. Training, lifting, pushing ourselves, pushing each other. And now it's time. BUCS is back. The archers are ready. The broadcast crew are ready. This revolution will be televised. Bring it on. Watch BUCS Sport live on Cardiff Met Sport TV this season.